Hello!
Hello there!
Well, welcome back to the channel on this windy day in Weston-super-Mare.
And it's cold.
It's very cold, yeah. We've just missed the 2 weeks of sunny or Easter weather we've had, and we've come to the seaside on the first day of cold, overcast conditions.
What did you do this for?
I don't know. Anyway, we thought we'd just come to Weston for a walk around and have a look and see, is the British seaside back to its glory?
Interesting.
Are the days in the doldrums gone? And are towns like Weston-super-Mare on the up? Let's go and take a look.
Let's go.
So this is Weston's famous promenade. We're just starting it halfway along because it's a bit windy and cold today. We've just missed the sunny weather, although it's the Easter holidays. It's certainly a lot colder than it was just a few days ago when we had a barbecue in the back garden.
Exactly. We've walked past the Tropicana, haven't we?
Yeah.
And that used to be like an outside swimming pool.
Yeah.
But that hasn't been open for many years. Many years.
It's also where they had the Banksy exhibition once, didn't they? Like the fun fairground. I'll see if I can find some footage or some images of when it was the Banksy. What do they call it? Oh, was it the Unfairground? Or am I thinking of something else?
I think you're thinking of something else, but it was like a fairground thing, I think.
Just up ahead here is the Grand Pier, which we're going to go on to and show you, but recently has caused a bit of uproar around here because for the longest time it's been £1 per person entry just to go on there and have access to the pier basically, and the arcade at the end.
It used to be free, right? And then when they built the new pier, like a few years after they built it, they decided they charge £1 to go on. I think it started off as 20p and then it went up to £1.
Which is still really cheap for something like that, I think.
But then you have to still pay for everything that you do when you go on there. But yeah, it's caused uproar in the press about it going up to £2.
Also, it's still only £2,
yeah,
which isn't a lot of money.
But if it's a family of like you, that's like a lot of money. Say it's 4 people,
I suppose.
Gone from £4 to £8.
And then when you get to the end, you still have to pay for the arcade and food and drink.
And the drinks and.
Anyway, we'll go on there now and we'll have a look and show you what you get for what you get for your £2.
Yeah, let's go.
Who's paying?
You.
Right. The promenade is full of ice cream shops and little cafes. We're very early in the season here, just at Easter. So there isn't, well actually no, everything is just open I think for this weekend.
Yeah, everything opened I think last weekend because a lot of schools either broke up last week or the week before.
I think the general vibe is that Weston is a seaside town which is trying to be back on the up again after a long time of being a bit down in the dumps potentially.
I would disagree with that. I think it's still a bit down in the dumps from what it used to be.
Okay, but there certainly are plans in place to make it better and stuff that it is. Anyway, here's the Grand Pier. It's an amazing entrance, to be fair. Milkshake Shack, Wonder Bubble. And on this side, a few souvenir shops selling rock and sweets and all your usual tourist tat you get in these sort of places. And then the turnstiles up ahead with a couple of staff members taking you £2 by the looks of it. So let's do this bit and see where we get.
I think it's contactless.
That's simple enough. Contactless £2 payment on each gate.
Or cash still.
Or cash if you want. And there's a staff member there. So yeah, there's a nice covered walkway, which I'll show you in a minute because there's some kids running up and down this one. There's Naomi as Alice in Wonderland. Last time we did one of them was at Glastonbury-on-Sea.
Yeah.
Insert image of Naomi as on the Glastonbury-on-Sea one. So they have a train that runs up and down the pier here. Not in service at the moment, probably because it's a bit early in the season, would you say?
Yeah, I don't think they do it all the time. I think it's like when it's busy. And like you can then you can do it for like my cousin's wedding. Like we went on it, remember?
Yeah, I remember, yeah.
So I think if you've got like an event, they allow you to go up in it.
Yeah,
as well.
A couple of years ago, was it 2 years ago? 2023 maybe, early 2023. We came for Naomi's cousin's wedding.
3 years ago.
Oh, 3 years ago.
It was 3 years ago. But May May this year.
which was down the end of the pier here in this building, which we'll show you. They have like a wedding reception area, which is lovely. It's a nice sunny day, and we got picked up all in our wedding regalia and taken down the pier here in a little train, which was cool, wasn't it?
It was so cool.
Really nice. One thing that I love about these piers is just the view you get back of the seafront all the time. I've been on a few around the place. Obviously, there's one in Clevedon, not far from here, just north. And I myself am from Devon, North Devon coast, and there's some wonderful piers in places like Ilfracombe and Weston-super-Mare. So I'm lucky to have grown up around them areas. So I always feel
Did
a certain.
you mean Weston-super-Mare then?
Oh no, I meant Willicombe. Even though there's no pier there, but it's a seaside-y sort of town. Anyway, the point is that coming back to places like this, and we don't live too far away, I just always feel almost like I'm at home again, being back in a seaside town, looking out at the sea, being on a pier, something that feels very homely about it anyway. Just in the distance over here, that's Breen Down, where we'll go there in the summer maybe when we've got a bit of time in August. Maybe we'll go and do Breen and Burnham and stuff like that, which is another lovely day out. Breen Down, there's a little fort on the end of that peninsula over there with some history attached to it, but you can walk all across this lovely little area there, grassland area.
It was part of World War II, I think it was.
Yeah, something to do with World War II and keeping an eye, like a, what do you call it?
A viewpoint.
Like a viewpoint looking out onto the Severn Estuary here. So we'll go and do that another time, but that's a nice place to go. But yeah, look at Western Beach, absolutely beautiful.
You can see the donkeys in the distance.
Oh yeah, you can see the donkey rides in the distance.
Tim's a donkey.
One thing I wanted to get across about coming back to Weston is that, all right there, Chuckles? One thing I remember about seaside towns when I was younger is...
Oh, there it is.
Oh yeah. There's the train parked up inside there, look. So that normally runs up and down the pier, 50p a ride I think it is. One thing they're making an effort to do in Weston, or maybe they've always done in Weston, is traditional seaside town games. So there's obviously lots of arcades and gift shops selling all the usual things. But then on the beach you can do donkey rides, you know, there's lots of cream tea places, there's lots of fish and chips.
Yeah.
It sort of feels like you're at the traditional British seaside when you're here.
Although the pier doesn't necessarily feel like that because it's got loads of new stuff in it.
Yeah, this is a very commercial pier, I think.
And it's not like Brighton Pier then, where it's quite old-fashioned.
Yeah, and it doesn't feel rickety. This is a solid structure.
It's very modern.
With this great big building at the end of it, which we're coming into now, which has got a huge arcade. It's going to be quite noisy in there with a lot of music, so I might just chuck some B-roll in of us going through the arcade.
And you think this pier is burnt down, I think it's only burnt down twice.
Oh, that's a good fact.
And so this pier now opened in, I think it was 2010.
Yeah.
So it's only 15 years old. So
It's amazing how big that building is and how heavy it must be. And it's all just up on these stilts in the ground.
yeah, but still, isn't it?
Yeah, just a really huge building and on the end of a pier. And in we go into one of the biggest arcades I've seen. If memory serves, it's a couple of floors and it's got a go-kart track inside it. And maybe some sort of roller coaster as well, I can't remember. But it's not your usual penny slots here, although there are them as well. Very noisy in an arcade. You forget that each one of these machines is pumping out its own soundtrack, and the noise just bleeds into each other all the time. And then add in the sound of screaming families and children, adults shouting. They're very noisy places. So as well as the go-kart track, there's also dodgems in here. Dinosaurs as well, roaming free. This is our first time in here with Ella, so this is a full-on sensory overload for her at 5 weeks old, I would have thought.
4 weeks old.
4 weeks old. So it's a lot quieter up on this first floor. And you've got some different things here, like there's an F1 simulator, which is closed today. A small crazy golf course. I'll show you the go-karts in a minute, but your standard rock, sweets, toys, gifts and souvenir shop. This is the go-kart track, which is inside, which is incredible for There they go. Not the fastest go-karts in the world, but for the end of a pier in a seaside town, isn't that sort of incredible? Got Squid Game merch on this little spinning carousel. Here's a great view up here of the whole arcade. So there are 2 floors, go-kart track, masses of games, all really high tech, and some roller coaster rides or fairground rides. And just at the back here is a designated smoking area, but a little quieter place to come and get away from the noise of the crazy arcade.
Yeah, definitely.
I remember being in this spot for your cousin's wedding actually.
Yeah, we have
just out on these
pictures,
tables
yeah.
and had photos taken out here. It was nice. Here's evidence of Weston's, something to do with it, the largest tide in the world or something. But that's just all mud, quicksandy, wet stuff going all the way out as far as you can see there. I would not want to be stuck out there. Needless to say, there's also a pub on the pier here, Captain Jack's Bar.
Do you want to go through it?
Well, we can go through and out the other side, yeah. And lots of nice seating areas. So one day that isn't so windy and cold, it's actually a nice place to come for a pint and a drink if you're in the area. The atmosphere can be very good. Naomi, do you want to try and win a teddy bear or not?
You could try.
Okay, what one do you want to go for?
What
We've got
about
Pokemon, we've got Marvel, Disney Wish, Tyson Fury, dolls. That is the scariest doll I've ever seen. Disney classics, Lion King, oh, Star Wars ones.
Winnie the
Minecraft,
Pooh?
Winnie the Pooh.
the Lion King?
I wouldn't mind a Baby Yoda.
Oh, go on then.
It would help if it worked.
Yeah, but isn't it your card? Try a different card.
I guess I'm not going to be able to win a Baby Yoda today. Oh, I wanted one. There you go, Naomi. Look, it's playing here in July. Martin
Oh,
Kemp,
dear.
80s Gold. DJ set. Western Grand Pier. So there you go, that is Western Grand Pier. And that's what you get for your £2 entry.
Well,
you get
nothing.
You get the ability to be able to walk down from, 100 yards from one end to the other.
Yeah.
Access into a large arcade, which is a good arcade, but then obviously if you're going in with a family, you're spending another load of money in there. Although, as arcades go, there's more than just slot machines. There is fairground rides and go-karts and bars and restaurants as well. So I think as far as £2 goes, I think it's £2 well spent if you've got a family, probably.
I completely disagree.
Okay.
Completely. I just think you don't get anything for all your money.
Yeah.
You're just walking down the pier.
Okay.
And you still have to pay for food, you still have to pay for everything.
True.
And like the wristbands that you can buy are so expensive.
Oh, it gets you unlimited rounds of golf and go-kart races. You can play the laser maze, the crystal maze, the crazy circus, house of mirrors, ghost train, dodgem, sidewinder. Big kids for adults, £15 for little kids. Okay, so that's ride wristbands.
Yeah, and so, but there's not that many rides, so 30 quid.
I think there's about 4, I counted, maybe 5.
Yeah, well, all of those ones.
So you're
then.
effectively paying £4 or £5 per ride then?
Yeah, and you could probably go to an actual, like, proper theme park for around a similar sort of price as that.
Yeah, potentially. Although there is no theme parks in the Western Supermare.
No, there's no theme parks in Western Supermare. There we go.
Okay, anyway, that's the Grand Pier done. Let's take a walk along the other end of the promenade down to where they've rebuilt, I don't know what they call it, a boating lake?
Yes.
It used to be an old sort of marshland. They had to dredge it and they've put a new sort of dam up, and I think as far as I'm aware they're turning it into a new touristy area. So
it's like swimming lake.
yeah, let's wander down there and see what else we've got in Western Supermare for people to enjoy.
Let's go.
Just as we got to the end of the pier here, we weren't planning on filming again, we just realised that you now have to exit through the gift shop, just to add insult to injury. Do you want a stick of rock, Naomi?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Swampy cider, ganja rock, Jaeger bomb rock. That's incredible. Nobody actually likes rock, do they?
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
It's nice.
What even is it? Just a stick of sugar?
This is one I should get for you. My sleeve.
Yeah, I don't know, I know it. as tribute artist names go, the Country Fest, like Coombs. And his logo is just an I over the U. Very clever. Just on the opposite side of the road here, you have the Old Thatched Cottage pub or restaurant. There's some sort of history attached to this, like it's the oldest pub in Weston, certainly. But it's got 1774 date on it and a thatched roof, which looks like it's being redone, but it's certainly an old pub. I'll see if I can find some more information on that particular pub, but I'm sure I've seen some other footage at some point somebody else took of the history, explaining the history of it, but anyway, that's just there. I always think this bit along the front here looks like you'd imagine being on the side of the road in a Canary Island somewhere, like you're walking through Gran Canaria and there's restaurants that are spilling out onto the road across from the beach.
Yeah, but it's definitely not as good as that.
No, of course not. And the difference here is that it's 13 degrees today, and if you're walking around, you know, Mas Palomas or something, it would be 28 degrees.
Oh.
But still, and on a different day, that could be a really lovely area to sit and have dinner. Just down the end here is a really good view of the north end of the beach and the pier in its entirety. And you can really see how it's just on these stilts, which obviously go a long way down, but on the end of it is this massive, great, huge building which takes up a lot of space, and that's where the arcade was we were just now. I've always think it's sort of incredible, really. One key feature of these seaside towns is always these hotels, or B&Bs. You get a lot of this in Ilfracombe, where I'm from, or near where I'm from, where there's these hotels that have been here since, God knows, the 40s or 50s or 60s. And I'm sure at one point they were thriving B&Bs and really popular, and every summer they were rammed, but now they just always look a bit sad. I don't know. I apologise to anybody from the Midland Hotel or Kensington Court or the Monaco, but I just feel like they've seen better days. Well, they obviously have seen better days, but they're still persevering and they're still open. You can still book to stay there if you want to. In some ways I admire the sort of the fact they're still going strong and, you know, they're still ticking along all these years later. Maybe they're waiting for the grand resurgence of Weston-super-Mare, and then maybe when the old pier is rebuilt, these places will thrive once again. I hope so, because this whole area down this end of the beach could be really, really nice. The promenade's beautiful, you're walking distance to the town, and you've got a lovely sea view. Look at this thing. That is a cool piece of kit. Big old wheels on that. But this is the marine lake that they've built over the last few years. I definitely remember coming here 4 or 5 years ago, and this was nothing, just a muddy area. And now I think I saw something about how they dredged it, and now it's turned into this little lake, and you can walk. There's people walking along the middle there. I'm not sure if we can do that or not today, depends how clear it is. But yeah, I think they do rowing boat hire and other things like that in here in the summer. But there's a little beach area at the end, a temporary lifeboat station. I think that's a hotel there. And then, yeah, this marine lake. Just realised what this is for now, I think, and there's someone swimming out there. I don't know if you're going to see him on camera, he's quite almost towards the far end over here, but it's a nice open water swimming. What an amazing place to do it. Fancy open water swimming?
No, thank you.
No, me neither.
Too cold.
It's down here on the north edge, the promenade, the newer end of the promenade finishes, and we're down to what I always think is the older part of Weston Promenade, which is near them B&Bs I was just talking about. And there's all these benches lined up looking out over the marine lake.
They're all memorial benches.
All memorial benches, yeah. And then round to the right, we're just going to go as far as so we can see, but it's Burnbeck Pier, which is the pier which, was it burned down, Naomi, or just fell into disrepair?
So I don't know if it was burnt down, but I know that so that pier, they had both piers. This one was for like ballroom dancing, I think.
Okay. So more of your traditional
it was like
pier,
more
sort
of a traditional pier. And then they had, I think they had the lifeboat from there. And then I don't know really what happened, but it kind of all fell into disrepair. Like the lifeboats went away from there because they couldn't get down the pier. Yeah, so it was a bit of a. It's been like that for since I've been alive.
All I know it is it's always been in the news of so and so's bought this pier and they're going to regenerate it.
But now,
it never really happens.
Have forced the buyers that last bought it, they have to do something with it. But I think it's because now it's been taken over by the council now.
Yeah, so I think finally something is happening from what I last read, is that right?
I think so. I think that's the whole point. But
It's just around this corner over here, so we're going to walk around and have a little look and then turn around and head back towards town. Mimi was just saying this used to be a nice restaurant, so you can get out on the edge of the water here, but I think this is a good reuse of space in our Renelai shop.
yeah, I think
Better than being nothing, and that's sort of fitting for the area.
I think it might have been because of the whole this area wasn't as busy, so we weren't making that much money from it. So it closed down, and then it was empty for ages, and then RNI's
Nice.
lifeboat.
And there is Burnbeck Pier. So they haven't done anything to it yet, it is just sitting there derelict. Still got its rickety old legs. We're not going to go around to it because it's another sort of half-mile walk from here to get to the entrance, but when you get there it's all fenced off and obviously danger, keep out signs and that sort of thing, but there it is. So hopefully one of these days that old grand pier will be redone and back to its former self. These flats don't look all that great, but they've got amazing balcony views. Like small little flats probably, and then 180 from there.
They're
That's the
retirement
idea.
properties, that's what they are.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, it says there. Retirement
I say
properties.
that. Retirement properties for sale and rent. Yeah, lovely. Certainly the worst location for a retirement flat. And as we approach the town centre, just behind the
Yeah.
promenade, is Weston-super-Mare's seafront back to its glory days? I'm not so
No.
sure. I mean, we're not here in the best weather, but yes, there's a lot here to do still. I think they are making an effort,
Yeah,
but there's a lot of poorer places.
definitely. And a lot of things that need developing more.
Yeah, and there's still a lot of development to do to get it back to its glory days. And the bits that are here, such as the pier, really are after your money, and every buck counts. And that's the
Everything's
thing.
overpriced.
Yeah, like even just parking along the seafront was £7 for a few hours, and there's no other options. So it's a lot of money. So if you're coming here, be prepared to spend a few bucks, but you know,
It's a nice day.
there's worse places to go, and it's certainly pretty.